Good afternoon, HMS Bobcats. Mr. Flato here. Welcome back to another great week, hopefully for each and every one of you at the Helena Middle School. Welcome to another Bob lesson. Today's Bob lesson, inspiration of like all of these many different things. Some of it is my experience with conversations with students, frustrations with friendship circle stuff, but also a book I read several years ago called The Nurture Assumption. And that book was really breaking down what is more, has a greater responsibility for students and who they turn out to be, people, human beings, who they turn out to be. Is that nature versus nurture? Is that the genetics that their biological parents gave them, or is it the parenting and influences and other relationships that form who people are? I'm not going to give you the answer of the book, but I will tell you when it came to the nurture side of things, specifically kids 12, 13, 14, adolescents, the greatest influence on them wasn't their parents, but it was their friends and those close to them within their friendship circle. So decided to put together, knowing how influential you all can be on one another, thought to put together a Bob lesson today, talking about holding your friends accountable, talking about how you don't get to choose your family, but you do get to choose your friends, talking about the influences that friends have on one another, talking about the responsibility of having a positive influence on your friends and holding them accountable when they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing, and also talking about association fallacy and how those people that we hang around end up forming and having an impact on how others view us and our reputation. So stoked about this one. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys find it valuable in your own lives. All right, Bobcats, we're off and running. New Bob lesson here called Holding Your Friends Accountable. Ooh, this will be good. But first, let's be our best at HMS. Let's be safe. Let's be responsible. Let's be respectful. Let's be a learner. All right, I want to start with this quote. I love this quote. I think it's so applicable for this lesson and kind of my thoughts that I'm talking about today. I spent a lot of time middle school talking about friendships. Why? Friendships are so important to all of us in life, but especially navigating it, trying to figure it out when you're 11 to 14 years old. Many of us come from different families, and we can't control the families we come from. We can't control what our families look like. We are a little bit at the mercy of our family structure, our family system, and what that looks like. But the one thing that we can control is the friends that we choose. And I think for a lot of us, our close friends as we get older end up being family. And there's a lot of characteristics of things that transcend family to friends, holding each other accountable, having discipline, loving and caring about one another, having expectations, etc. So wanted to talk a little bit today about holding friends accountable. It's something that's been on my mind a lot. Conversations with students, hearing students talk about their friendships and how some of the things that their friends do has an effect, mostly negative, on them, and in conversations with how do we hold our friends accountable? How do we help our friends understand that the decisions you make not only affects you, but it affects those around you as well. Maybe the most important part of holding your friends accountable is this concept called association fallacy. Association fallacy, basically to put it in terms that middle school students and normal human beings can understand, is this notion that if somebody out of a group is known for one thing, then the whole group is known for that one thing. You may know this as birds of a feather flock together. You've heard that term maybe or maybe not, or a more of a negative connotation would be guilty by association. Why this is so important is going back to reputation, going back to who you are known as. And if you have members of your friendship circle that are not acting in a way that is consistent with how you want to be known or how you want your reputation to be, that's a great example where you can erroneously and unfairly get labeled because somebody out of your group acts or behaves or does something that maybe you don't condone and isn't how you want to be associated with. So one important reason for holding your friends accountable in your close friendship circle is for this very reason. So now that we've talked about how birds of a feather flock together and how we can be viewed or judged based on those around us, how do we hold our friends accountable? I think true friends know what's important to each of their friends. That's why you're true. You know them on a deeper level, what their friends value and what they want to accomplish and where they want to go in life. That's partly of how we end up choosing our friendship circles. True friends also recognize their actions affect more than just themselves. It takes the welfare of their friendship circle into consideration as well with every single decision that they make. If they're slipping on meeting their goals and they're not staying true to their goals in their day-to-day life, true friends will remind them that they're slipping and to get going on it. I know with my friends, we hold each other accountable on our goals. We communicate what our goals are. And when we see one another slipping, we may have that conversation of, hey, what's going on? I see you haven't been working on X, Y, or Z. When friends are making poor decisions, I think this is the bigger one at the middle school level, reminding them of those decisions and that it can reflect poorly not only on them, but their circle as well. That's the association fallacy that we talked about a little bit earlier. And that one's kind of two-part. Holding your friends accountable also means caring about them and having some discipline with them. If they're making poor decisions and they're not doing the right thing, having that conversation of, hey, I love you, I care about you, you're not making good decisions, I'm worrying about you. And then also the second part of that is when you do these things and you get yourself in trouble, or the court of public opinion is observing this, you're putting your friends in a bad light as well. This is one that I've seen a little bit more as well, is encouraging friends to speak positively about others or not speak at all to minimize and eliminate the optic of them being two-faced. So some friendship circles sometimes can get in the bad habit of speaking negatively about other people. And if someone in your friendship circle is creating a negative vibe or a negative reputation around them, and they're always speaking negatively about other people or talking about people behind people's back in a negative way, that can influence the reputation that other people have for the whole circle. So confronting them on what is and what is not right, again, is what true friendships are all about. All right, here we go on this week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week winners. We've got Tyser James, Cash Neal, Sadie Murray, Nolan Drake, and Timothy Wilkins. The question was something along the lines of what goes up and down but stays in the same spot, and the answer was stairs or an elevator. This week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week: what can go through a glass window without breaking it? If you think you know the answer, submit your answer to the Bob box. Get it turned in first and last name by the end of the week. And just a reminder, I just draw the first 5 correct answers. So many times, yes, students do have the right answers, but I just randomly draw the first 5. So if that's the case, you probably weren't in the first 5. All right, Bobcats, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.